Good morning. My name is Ryan Miller. I'm the founder of Parent Dome. I've been coming to various live streaming platforms trying to provide education on the dangers, risks, threats, and permanence of what is happening online on social media. Primarily, my message has been focusing on parents and helping to equip them to make wise decisions regarding how they transfer the power of this into the hands of a child unsupervised, whether it be a smartphone, whether it be a tablet, whether it be a video game console. Unsupervised access to the internet is a dangerous thing. And right now I've shifted my messaging a little bit to really address a problem which is becoming more and more visible. One of it is censorship. This is that certain voices are being shut down in the public domain of social media. People are going to Facebook jail. People are being shadow banned on platforms. People are being actually deplatformed, being removed from YouTube or being removed from Twitter, having their accounts actually terminated. Accounts are being demonetized. But it is really, there is a bias. There is a bias based upon the type of information which is experiencing that censorship. But prior to censorship is this feeling that we have of privacy. And I want to touch on privacy because the other day I was talking about privacy and I was making some pretty salient points and people are saying, what do we do? What do we do? And I said, and I had to pause and I had to redirect the question and it was, it's not what do you do, it's what are you not willing to do? And that's really a hard self-examination to look at ourselves and make a determination. What are we not willing to do? And it comes down to behavior modification. We don't want to modify our behavior. So it was really interesting. I participate in very secure private platforms, and I have the ability to see new people come into a platform. So just the other day, there was somebody that has been rather active on Twitter, not somebody I follow on Twitter, but somebody who's active on Twitter, and they post videos and they post tweets, and they have a conservative mindset, and they posted something in which Twitter found objectionable, and they shut down this person's account, and they left, well, they didn't have a choice. They were exited out of Twitter, and they joined this other secure platform, because their audience, their followers, been saying, you should go here, you should go here, you should go here. So this person popped over here. Now, being in social media and participating on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and insert the most popular social media site, whatever it is, you have familiarity because you've been spending so much time and interacting with people and you understand the tools and you didn't have this fear of navigating the different hierarchies and adding images and adding videos and determining settings and how to block and how to send retweets. You didn't have a fear about exploration. But when you go into these new platforms, because it's not what you're used to, you have a very low frustration factor. You're easily frustrated because you have to reinvest in a new learning curve and find the nuances inside of a new platform, which wasn't meant to replicate Twitter, which wasn't meant to replicate Facebook, which wasn't meant to replicate Instagram. These were all designed to protect you and provide you a shield, a buffer of privacy. But see, here's the crazy thing, that we have built up a delusion. Good morning, Van. We live in a delusion as to what privacy really is. You have been indoctrinated as to what you think is private information. So I thought it would be good to just provide a little bit of base information as to what is actually private information. Private information is information that is not available in the public domain. Not available in the public domain. When you take whatever you say, whatever you do and you post it on social media, it is now in the public domain. So let me give you some examples of private information. Your driver's license is private information. The photo, the driver's license number, the description of your height, weight, your eye color, your hair color, the actual license number itself, your address, your physical address, and other information which is relative to the state that you reside, that is private information. That is not in the public domain. Now, that is not saying that people with the skills, talents, and tools and research capabilities can identify your driver's license information. If they are able to identify that private information and put it in the public domain, that's when you experience something which can be called illegal doxing. Taking something that is private and you pulled it into the public domain and posted somebody's driver's license on social media, that is doxing, and you will receive consequences for doing that. Let's take another one. Your social security number. That is private information. If you make that publicly available without protecting it, you have made that public information. It is now a matter of public record. Let's take another one. A credit card. Now, if you put a credit card number with the CSV file in an email, well, first of all, you're an idiot. You're an idiot because that's private information. And you've chosen to put it in a platform that you believe is secure, but it's not secure. So that information is now a matter of somebody else's property. It's your property, but because you didn't read the terms of service of Google or Yahoo or Hotmail or others, it is now in their possession as well. Same thing if you put that credit card information in a text. It is now not secure. It is in the public domain. But that's your behavior that is taking private information and you're willingly making it public. You're not protecting that information in any way. So let me talk about some other information which you believe is private, but is a matter of public record. Where you live. Where you live is a matter of public record. People with the time and the resources can go to a local courthouse. They don't even have to physically go to the courthouse because there are records that are available publicly online through many state and county courthouses. But where you live is a matter of public record. Any liens you have against your property is a matter of public record. Any judgments against you are a matter of public record. Your employment history, if you're on LinkedIn and you're providing a background of your employment, that is now a matter of public record because you've chosen to take what you are doing as a private resume and you're putting a private resume public. Absolutely, your business information is public. Even if you think you're protected by nonprofit status, nonprofit information is still available, except for the 501c4s, which have a creative way. Stupid repeat bots. But even then, with additional resources, you can gain access to information on businesses. So our behavior is the determination as to what information is public. So when you are checking into locations and you're putting breadcrumbs as to where you travel, that's public information. It's letting companies know that you enjoy this type of food. You like to stay at this type of hotel. I like to use this kind of rental company. I support these search sites for my vacations. That's all public information. Now, what happens when you provide all that information, these platforms take it and they use it, but you can't complain about how they use it because you've agreed when you clicked I agree that I want to enjoy the Facebook experience. I want to enjoy the Twitter experience. I want to enjoy the community of Instagram. And those are very powerful, sometimes very rewarding relationships, experiences inside of those platforms. But you do it at your own peril. Your peril being that you're providing information to not only those people that you talk to, but you're providing it to those entities, that's data, and that data is being shared for their purposes. So you may have heard of Cambridge Analytica and how that data was being used through applications and being sold to Cambridge Analytica, that they were using it to influence. Social media data being used by these big organizations is for two primary objectives: to influence you. Now, you don't know what they're influencing you towards. You don't know what their objective is in influencing you or encouraging you. So that's their one objective. And the other objective is to extract more data and to extract from you financially through a transaction. And people often, I hear this frequently, that, we were just talking about that we had a storm come through and it knocked down all the trees. And inside we were talking about, it's about time that we get a generator backup for our house, because I'm tired of throwing away food in the refrigerator and freezer every time we lose power. Isn't it time that we get a backup generator? And then they go to Facebook or they go to Google or they go wherever they go. Then all of a sudden they see advertisements start popping up for generators. And they're like, wow, that's funny. I was just talking about generators. Then all of a sudden on my news feed and in my areas, in my social media accounts, I'm seeing things pop up specific to a generator. And they're like, how did that happen? Well, because you're not aware of all of these pieces that are connected to the internet that are watching and listening and capturing your data. You have no privacy. But that has been by your choice. It's all about your behavior. Your behavior dictates what is private. But here's the problem. Our impulsivity to want to participate and get the newest gadget, get the newest technology, to experience the benefits of the smartphone, the tablet, the laptop, the thermostat, the Amazon device that I'm going to the new device, which is with Comcast, that you can extend your wireless in your home, and it's got all these dongles you can attach throughout your home. All of these internet devices. You've clicked I agree. You've never read the terms of service. You aren't familiar with how the technology is capturing information about you because you don't think that's a concern. It's not a concern. Well, look at this. I have more bots in my broadcast than I have actual people. Amazing. Gotta love the bots. But I understand this topic is a sensitive topic. So I cannot help people hit the pause button and read the terms of service and become aware of how they're giving up their privacy, because the drive for them is to enjoy the experience of social media, and I can't fault them. You've been programmed based upon what's happening on TV and what's been happening with these experiences with video games and CDs. It's too much of a nuisance to read the fine print. And you just say, I'm not doing anything wrong. But it's not up to you to determine what you do wrong. And you really don't have a basis to complain when that advertisement for the generator pops up on your feed because you are talking about in your home. You're like, oh, isn't that bizarre? Isn't that bizarre? But you don't have the ability to connect the dots on how that can be used for more evil, particularly with your children. And how those people, aside from the applications, how individuals use that information. So I just had a conversation with a friend of mine today, and he is building a new Facebook page to promote his business. And he's been doing things on Google, and he's been doing keyword searches on Google to get autoresponders, auto updates, so he can review information based upon a keyword like notifications. Excuse me. And he said, Ryan, you can't believe that my Facebook page is now being contaminated with all these Facebook marketing advertisement lead generation thing popping up on my timeline. I'm like, I'm being contaminated and polluted. And I said, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy when you go, you don't understand that traveling pixel. No, I get nothing from Super Hearts. Now, Super Hearts, I will never be approved for Super Hearts. I leave my Super Hearts active for those people that want to provide donation and recognition to the platform of Periscope and Twitter. Super Hearts is a function available within inside Periscope. It's patreon.com. Patreon.com at Parent Dome. That's why I leave that stuff up there. But Van, it's joining me out in some of these other platforms. You're already joined with me in one of the platforms that's secure, but it's joining me in another one. I'm having a lot more dialogue. It's much more active in the other communities. I want to educate people and provide them the information, the knowledge, the tools, the resources on how to reclaim privacy. And we can't reclaim privacy on Periscope. It's non-existent. You can't get it on Facebook. You can't get it on Twitter. The only way you reclaim privacy on any of those platforms is to leave those platforms. So here is my point. In my conversation with my friend this morning, I said, I've been dealing with this, and people are saying, what do we do? What do we do? You have no freedom of speech. You have no freedom of speech. The only way you can exercise freedom of speech is in areas which support freedom of speech. But there is no freedom of speech in Periscope, nor Facebook, nor Twitter, nor YouTube. They only have a freedom of speech in which they approve. But so I was talking to my friend, and I was saying, people are saying, what do I do? What do I do regarding privacy? And then I said, it's not what do you do, it's what are you not willing to do? And it really comes down to one thing. It's your behavior. You're not willing to change your behavior. When people leave Twitter and they go into a secure platform, they want it to be just like Twitter, to be something that they're used to and comfortable, and they know how to navigate. And they get frustrated that they have to go down a new learning curve on how to behave and participate in a platform which is based upon security and privacy. They don't want to go through that learning curve, and they want it to be as functional as YouTube and as Twitter and as Facebook and as Instagram. They want what they want, but they want the benefit of being private, but they want it to be the experience just like they're used to. It doesn't work that way. In order to achieve privacy, you have to put these gates and these boundaries and these tiers behind it. And that the only people you're going to talk to in these secure platforms are the people that you want to talk to. That you establish a relationship and you invite them into a conversation. Twitter, 130,000 followers. Those are not people, those are stalkers. Those are not relationships. That is a social clout which is meaningless. How many followers I have is meaningless. My engagement is what's important. The people that have conversations and discussions with me outside of Periscope, that's where my value is. It's not how many people subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's not how many people follow me on Twitter. And it's not how many people are on my Facebook page. It's how many people I'm having interactive discussions. My discussions privately outnumber the conversations that I have publicly. Because those people respect and desire and want privacy. And that they have learned that I am a trustworthy person and that they're going to manage their risk with me over time to validate their level of trust with me. And I am in these communities and I regulate my behavior, what I say, where I say it, and how I say it, based upon the assumption that I know nobody. Yeah, Van is a good asset. Oh, another bot. So when I come into Periscope, recognizing that I'm coming into the platform that's filled with the disease that people don't care about privacy, my only thing is a desire to invite them to learn how to recapture privacy. A friend of mine on Facebook made a post. Actually, this is happening more and more. It's probably at the rate of 2 or 3 a week, and my friends are making statements that they're leaving Facebook. And I say, you know what? It's about time. It's about time. The people that connect with you are not your friends. People that snipe at you and say these nasty things, these are not your friends. These are people that are argumentative. They want to influence you. They want to yell at you. They want to change your views on things. And it's not done in a loving manner. It's done in a sniping manner, a divisive manner. And I said to my friend, I said, Sarah, I applaud you making the decision to step back away from Facebook. But I think you would benefit in maintaining relationships with people that you know, like, and trust that you built over time, and you go somewhere else and you invite them over there, that you can have this safe conversation away from the pollution and the disease and the contamination that exists inside of Facebook. It's inescapable. Now, I invited her to go over here and participate on Facebook just to get started, so I can give her a springboard to determine which place is best for her. And I said, sweetie, I don't want to leave you there naked. I want you to come into this experience, and I know it's not going to be like Facebook, but it's going to be safe, it's going to be secure, it's going to be private, and you can talk to me because you know me. You know me in real life. You know what's important to me, and our worldviews are the same. And I want to introduce you to this community. And then I want to connect you with some people that, if you trust me, that I'm going to introduce you with people that have similar thinking. And that you can invite your friends into this community that you know, like, and trust, and you can create your own community of safety, that you can share this information with those people that you know, like, and trust. And the world doesn't see it. The world doesn't see it. The world doesn't stick to you. Only those people you want to stick to you will stick to you. Now, obviously, you have the ability to do... Yeah, right. Obviously, you have the ability to control and block or mute people on your social media platforms. But unfortunately, that is incredibly uncomfortable for people. To take that active step to block someone, or actually if they're a recipient of being blocked, there's this emotional anxiety that is built up, that there's a hesitation to block someone, and that there's another bot. Hesitation to block in a sense of, what did I do to cause being blocked? If you start with the premise that I went into Facebook ignorant, I went into Twitter ignorant as to what this was going to become, because I gave up this privacy, and how it would be used so divisively and so angrily, and how it's so toxic that you are not free to express your thoughts or opinions, what are happening in the political climate, what is happening in the geopolitical climate, what is happening with your views on religion, what's happening regarding your views regarding your personal sports team, what's happening in your profession, that you're going to be free from this external judgment of the world, and that you can have the feedback from those people that you know, like, and trust, that are going to keep you on your moral trajectory, consistent with your morality and your worldview. Now, you may invite people in that may be a bit strange. That's a very good, healthy behavior. Somebody just mentioned that they have had to start blocking some people lately. And honestly, that's not a bad thing to sterilize your audience. My use of social media is intentional. I have a small little bubble which I use, which is very locked down. Very locked down. That sphere of care is very closed. Very few people get into that sphere of care. Very few people get into it. That takes years to get into that depth of me. And people have to earn their way into here. Somebody had made the step from my sphere of influence into my sphere of concern, and they violated that trust that I had assigned to them. And I said, here's the deal. You need to remove that post immediately, or I'm terminating this relationship. We have had a good relationship, but you should have known enough about me that you don't make a post like that about me. So take it down immediately, or I am no longer associated with you. And that post immediately disappeared, immediately vanished. Fantastic. Public, permanent, people could have screenshotted it, but I caught it so quickly that that probability was rather remote. So I wanted to stay on the topic of privacy, that stop living in this delusion, this fabrication of what you think is private, and that you don't get to determine what is good, bad, right, or wrong when you're in social media. You are under a trial, an examination of a court of public opinion. You see that right now, right before you. If you've got any political visibility in what's happening with Kavanaugh and Dr. Blasey Ford, you see that this is a trial of public opinion. And regardless of where you sit on it, sit relative to either of those two individuals, you see any comment that you would post about that, you're going to be subject to the trial of a court of a public opinion. Or you can remove yourself from that court of judgment. Now, that you may derive pleasure by playing in that. But I'm saying playing with that, unaware of those dangers of how they can attach to you, is quite risky. It's quite risky. So I'm inviting people to join us over at Facebook at The Cultural Contrarian. I'm also communicating in other secure platforms. So it's like you go where the disease exists. I'm here to provide an antidote. It has to do with your behavior. There's not an app to download to help you modify your behavior. There's not an app for that. What that is, to modify your behavior, is generally those people that are willing to make the investment in therapy. Because behavior modification is a 6-week journey before that behavior is changed and becomes a habit. But people are not willing to put in that work. They want the app fix. I'm saying, for the sake of our children and our future, examine our behavior. Make your own decisions. That is not a behavior that I want to change. I want privacy, but I don't want to leave Facebook. Well, you can't have both. That's the law of non-contradiction. You can't go in a public domain and expect to have privacy. So just accept that. Don't complain about censorship. Don't complain when people say nasty things. You have signed on that dotted line. Don't expect a report to Periscope or Twitter or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram to be responded to more than a form email. Don't expect that. Deal in the real world. Deal in the real world that you are a tool. A capital T tool and a small t tool. You can use the tools to your advantage and modify your behavior to provide sufficient protection, or you can go into an area where you have to spend much less energy and you can be in an environment that you create, that nobody else has that visibility and they don't have that control over you. When I did my webinar on Facebook, Facebook determined that the Facebook audience should not see my webinar. They allowed 3 people into that webinar and everybody else was blocked out. They shut it down. So Facebook made that decision. When I do certain broadcasts on Periscope, they make the decision that I'm not going to be visible. Got 4 people in my broadcast. Pretty important topic. Not too many people are interested. They're not going to give me any global viewing. They're not going to promote my scope. They're not going to do anything. And they're also going to restrict my scope because they don't want you to know about privacy. So they're going to restrict it. It's going to be restricted on Twitter. I'm already shadow banned on Twitter. So Twitter doesn't want you to hear about privacy. If I put anything up on YouTube about privacy, it gets taken down. So I'm actively censored. But I'm trying to provide resources and information for those people that say, this is valuable. Let me share this information with some people. He's got it on replay. Invite people to join over here and learn how to get private. The disease is in the social media world. People are complacent. People are impulsive. And they feel comfortable there. I'm saying, let me walk you down a path. Let me walk you down a path. I'll hold your hand. You make your own decisions at your own time. And you determine, you know what? I don't want people reading my emails. I don't think that's creepy. That's creepy that other people are seeing my emails. It's creepy that other people are seeing my text messages. Particularly when I'm having a text message with my wife and we're sending these silly emojis back and forth. I don't need other people to see that. But you've given that up. You don't realize you've given it up, but you've given it up. So as an advocate for wanting to help people achieve privacy, it's about us taking action. Dan just commented, it's about making thought-out choices. In addition to making thought-out choices, it's about before you put that choice into action, before you put that choice into action, hit the pause button and take a look at what consequences might come tied to that particular choice. When I make a post on Twitter about Dianne Feinstein or something from Alyssa Milano, or I make a post about Bernie Sanders, I have to measure what I post based upon what the consequences might be. Might I attract a Twitter mob? I might. I don't have enough visibility to attract a Twitter mob. But sometimes I may want to attract that Twitter mob because a percentage of them may want to learn how to achieve privacy. I may say something that is so terse that will ping the radar of Twitter that they will shut me down, which has happened repeatedly. So I have to manage what I say, how I say it, and where I say it to anticipate the consequences. Often for me, that results in the email I type and don't send to formulate the email that I type and will send. It's like the comment I'm going to make on Twitter and hit tweet, or it's the comment I'm going to delete and then formulate what I want to say and then hit tweet. It's using my brain to hit the pause button to anticipate the consequences. Sadly, I don't have long enough vision to imagine the breadth and depth of the consequences. That's always learning. That's always learning. That I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't expect that to happen. So I have to constantly modify my behavior based upon what I want to use the tools for. When I see that progressives are incredibly organized and mobilizing and creating boycotts and creating protests and rallying a Twitter page to cause division for any conservative thought, for any conservative publication, these guys are fantastic. They're out there actively rallying people to take action, to post to advertisers so they can have advertisers stop advertising on these conservative posts, these conservative publications. I'm like, you know what? You have the power to do it. I don't agree with what you're doing, but that's part of the freedom of our speech. Conservatives are not aligned. They're not united. We're these little independent islands because we like our freedom. We enjoy the independence of the freedom. But we're not very good at collaboration, and we're not really good at organization of a unity of multiple groups, of an ideology. I mean, sure, when people say some nasty things about In-N-Out Burger, people are going to rally around In-N-Out Burger and they're going to line up and fill the store. Same thing with Chick-fil-A and same thing with Hobby Lobby. When they feel that little outrage that touches into something that they hold near and dear, they're going to rally behind that for a moment. For a moment. It's a flash. We're going to say, we're going to show you today. We're going to show you now. And look at us now. That you did this, here's what we did in return. But it's so short-lived that those people do not. They stand in line to support In-N-Out. They stand in line in Chick-fil-A. But they're not talking as a group. They're not talking as a group. They're their own little islands. That this is my little sense of protest. And I'm going to take my dollars and support and defend In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby or Mozilla or whatever it will be. But they're not going to unite. I think our voices are important. We don't all have to agree. We don't. We can agree to disagree. But I say, are we agreeing to disagree with the mutual objective in a quest for truth? In the quest for truth. We can have diverging opinions. And I can say your opinion is wrong, and you can say my opinion is wrong. But neither of us can both be right. But only one of us can be right and going for truth. And discuss and tease out who is really seeking truth. Right now, listening to the speech from Chuck Schumer last night, I was absolutely grossed out as to what he did with his words in framing things that had nothing to do with truth. The biggest minority is the individual. We benefit when we come together, but progressives are very good, eager and willing to join together because the emotion that binds them is outrage. And that's a very powerful emotion, to be angry. And they can be united in their anger. And you can really rally people around anger. That's why mobs are so powerful. And how the ability to influence the mob. Very easy to influence and steer a mob. But conservatives are not willing to link arms. They wanted to debate the nuances as opposed to look at the prime objective. It's like, I'm going to use this as an example. In religion, say take Christianity as an example. There are fundamentals in the faith of Christianity. There are fundamentals, maybe 5 basic fundamentals. But there are so many denominations and divisions of denominations and subsets of the denominations because they want to do these subtleties within their own little group, their own little, the Baptists, the Methodists, the Episcopalians, they're all the Anglicans. the Mennonites, the Amish. We have commonality. But the divisionalization keeps us in our own little congregational bubble. Even though we adhere to the same 5 basic fundamentals, we will not unite. We will not unite. It's amazing to me how many people that identify as being Christian do not go out and vote. It's amazing to me. Now, I understand those people that have the argument for not voting. I understand that and I respect that. But there's another portion of the people that are they just don't get up and do it. They don't have a sense of civic responsibility. They don't want to invest the time to learn the basics. The basics, not only of the politician that they could vote for, but the basics as it aligns with their worldview. And how they're making decisions which are contrary to what they claim. Many people do that. They make decisions that are actually in direct opposition to that to which they claim. Blows my mind. So I'm going to continue to invite people to join us on Facebook so I can give you the bridge to get into the conversations about how you can achieve privacy. Now, if you're on Periscope or you're on Twitter and you're on YouTube and you're in Facebook and you are part of this expression that you're doing it for novelty and entertainment, that's not why I'm here. My goal is really to protect children. My goal is to protect children and to speak to parents that have an active concern about what their kids are doing online. And that's a very, very small percentage. And there's not an app to fix that. This is all about our behavior. We own it. So I thank you for the 2 people that are in the broadcast. And it's quite 2 people on the Periscope broadcast. It's just the evidence that this is not a message that the Periscope platform wants people to hear. So everybody have a great day. I'm glad I'm recording this. I will share this elsewhere. And I'm going to continue my conversations, which are active right now in the other platform. I have to say, there's a couple of secure platforms that I participate in for various reasons, and my goal is to help build the communities in each of them so we can be united as well. And that to educate people and say, based upon who you are, these are the things that are available to you, and depending upon what you want to do, this might be a better destination for you. Because there is no one answer. There is no one answer. There's one community that people from Periscope see me in this other private community. And the activity that's happening in that other community is non-existent. There's in the platform that begins with the letter B, which I'm not going to recognize them, but that platform that begins with the letter B, it's ghost town. It's secure, it's private, but there's no interaction over there. There are so few people in that platform. They don't even know how to use the platform themselves, meaning their behavior in the platform. They don't understand how to get those levels of privacy. It's just a shotgun approach. Yeah, Breitbart. That's funny. Just shotgun. I was in a room in this particular platform. It's called Political Rants. And I was making a post in there and I said, the Political Rant room looks pretty much just like Twitter expression of outrage that people can hide behind anonymity. How rewarding is this? You guys just want to drop a bomb so you can declare what side of the political aisle you're on and invite the foils to come in from the other side of the political aisle. And it's a waste of banter. You got neither one of you posting in Political Rants have a desire to have a conversation or a discussion. You just want to drop a bomb. You just drop a bomb. You don't want to go for a quest for truth. You want to hide behind anonymity and say, see, I told you. See, I showed you. And it's tell me the redeeming value in that. Make you feel good? Make you feel good? Go for it. Go for it. Very shallow constitution. Very shallow. But I decided, My 2 cents aren't needed there. That's not a room for me. I can see this. I look at social media as a social experiment that's gone afoul. And behavior is what behavior is. And I can see it. I just don't need to participate in it. I can choose not to contribute. I can choose to come in there and say, you know, my name is, and I think we would have better benefit if instead of dropping these bombs, we were to have a discussion. But it doesn't appear anybody in here wants to have a discussion. Just keep dropping your bombs. I want to empower people to have a discussion. Now, that's a very small percentage of people. Very small percentage of people that actually want to get involved in a discussion because they just constantly want to prove they're right. I see this happen when somebody's doing a lecture and they open the lecture up to people asking questions, and people come up to ask a question. They got their phone and they have eloquently typed out their question, and they're reading their question because they want to show the audience how smart they are, and they could be possibly be smarter than the lecturer. It's all about look at me. We're the culture of the selfie. Look at me. Give me my 2 minutes of fame. You can have your 2 minutes of fame, but I think there's a lot to be gathered and learned by engaging in civil discourse. Civil discourse. I start the bridge here. I go where the disease exists and says, for those people that want to learn on another place that you can have a better social media experience with people you know, like, and trust and have common interests. It's not, and you're going to be free from the influence and the blocking and the censorship and the nasty stuff that's constantly hitting your timeline. Go to those advertisement-free platforms. I just saw a comment that Van said, I rarely post anonymously. I think it's what stops people from truly thinking. It promotes impulse. And I think that's very wise. I think that's very wise. If you're willing to say it, stand up and say it. Don't hide behind a shield. I wanted a replacement for Twitter, and I wanted to call the application Spine, that was tied to who you really were. It took away the anonymity. A blue verified check mark to me in Twitter should be tied to accountability. Should be tied to accountability, that if you post something, you have no problem your employer seeing what you post. You have no problem your pastor seeing what you post. You had the courage to post it. Own it. Own it. Yeah, it is very much like the example was it's like Antifa hiding behind masks. They want to use their voice, but they want to use their voice in hiding. These are cowards. These are cowards. They're bully cowards. They want the freedom to say what they want to say, but don't look at me. I don't want you to know who I am. These are the people that are at protests that are saying, don't put me on video. Don't record my audio. No, you're in public, you nut pie. There's no expectation of privacy in public. If you're going to rant and rave with this, accept that I'm going to shoot a video of you and take your behavior and let your grandkids see it. Let your grandkids see what grandma and grandpa really are like. Let your children see how you behave. Stop hiding. Show us who you really are. Let everybody see who you really are. And your future will be dependent upon who you really are. I'm willing to do it. I have the courage to put my face there, press go live, and share what I share. And I'm willing to be accountable to my audience for what I say. Periscope. It's absolutely disgusting to me. It's absolutely disgusting to me how people use it for drama and creating mayhem. But that's the culture we live in. I'm a cultural contrarian. I don't believe in conventional wisdom because there's nothing conventional about today's wisdom. It doesn't exist. conventional investment doesn't exist. Good for you. You can be like Simon. You don't need to go put your face on there. Somebody was saying that they're getting to the point where they wanted to press go live and record. And I would say, if you have a voice and you want to share, you don't necessarily need to put your face up there. Simon, just Simon 14, who broadcasts on Periscope, is one of those people. It's dangerous for him to put his face up there because of the things that he's educated and passionate about are dangerous in the public domain. He's another friend that is actively censored. But it's dangerous for him to do that. He can't show his physical presence because where he lives and the climate that he resides under politically, he's putting himself at risk. So, Van, if you have a voice that you want to bring out, a message, test it. Hide behind a veil. Just have the camera show from here down. I'll respect it. I'll even respect if the camera's pointing the other way and you're showing me a tree and a squirrel climbing up the tree. Wear a Rob mask. I've been attempting to help various individuals in the various domains of the private communities, and some are receptive, some are exploitive, and some are rejecting. They know all the answers. I'm not identifying any platform and any individual with where they may fit, but I will say that trying to take my kind of thinking and be a benefit to these private communities is all over the spectrum. People appreciate my wisdom. People appreciate my thinking. People want to support it. And others are on the other side of the spectrum. I appreciate the ability for my voice to be heard. That's a cool thing. But my time investment is based upon my recognition of the value of time in which I invest. And that varies all over the place. So I'm going to go back and invite people to join me on Facebook or communicate with me through those various. Take a screenshot and communicate with me through Gmail, DM me on Twitter. Yeah, I made a comment. Nah, I won't bring it here. No need to bring it here. I did make an observation and a comment, and I didn't connect the dots. I didn't connect all the dots, but I just let it sit. And unfortunately, I guess me being obtuse is not helpful. But many times there's no reason for me to connect the dots. Many times there's not a reason for me. But anyway, privacy, censorship. I want to help. I want to rally people, link arms. However you can support the message, however you can share the message, however you can support the efforts, things that I'm doing in those private communities, join us. Talk. Share. There's not many of us out there. Our voices are being shut down. So thanks, Van. Everybody have a great day, and on to bigger and better things. Take care.